Concerns are being raised in Carlsbad about an affordable housing facility residents say is bringing crime to the area.
The city says Windsor Pointe offers affordable housing with half of the units for low-income veterans, their families, and homeless vets, and the other half for unhoused individuals experiencing mental illness.
Let's be clear about what Windsor Pointe is not. The San Diego Union says there is a single veteran in residence out of the 50 apartments.
I heard you say you didn't know how many veterans lived there, so who would know the answer to that question?
Windsor Pointe is clearly not veteran housing.
According to the Carlsbad Police Department, since it first opened its doors back in 2022, there have been 762 calls for service.
That is one call per day.
It's near Jefferson Elementary School. It's near 2 Montessori preschools. The location for this just does not make any sense.
There have been 19 arrests.
Child sexual abuse, attempted murder, drug dealing, shootings, burglary.
The severity of these incidences should be everyone's priority.
Clearly, the incidences that are occurring inside the facility are spilling out into the neighborhood.
My little girl has had to step over a crack pipe and around drunken residents on the sidewalk out front, vomiting in the planter.
We have seen residents of Windsor Pointe passed out over the steering wheel of their vehicle. One individual is actually passed out while parked in the middle of our street. We have seen residents arrested, littering, and experiencing mental health crises.
They told the little kids that they were gonna kill them. Like my little sister was playing outside and one of the ladies screamed that out.
There's a lot of mental health problems. And that's very true. And there's a lot of drug addiction. That's very true as well. What are they doing about it? Nothing.
Windsor Pointe does next to nothing to solve Carlsbad's homeless problem.
Only 6 residents have ties to Carlsbad.
Social workers from all over the county have sent their homeless problem here. Why are we putting people that need security next to kids?
Our street has grown to 15 kids under the age of 10.
Management has no idea who even lives at Windsor Pointe.
Within 2 weeks of opening, a convicted sex offender started living there.
Internal city communication with the developer confirms that tenants have unknown people living with them, and I quote, for support.
These residents are not on leases, they're not background checked, and they're not accounted for by Affirmed.
Almost half the crimes were from non-residents.
There was an attempt murder. The attempt murder was a guest that attempted to murder 2 people that were staying at the location. The committed sexual assault of a child was a guest who sexually assaulted a child that was a resident.
But the action recommended by the staff report essentially says, don't worry, we'll have the people using Windsor Pointe as a flop house sign a guest book.
Why is it okay to put our families and children at risk?
The citizens of the city who are tax-paying residents, who are law-abiding citizens, have to deal with people sleeping out on the streets, people who are passed out from drug use, and most importantly, it's the kids that are in our city as well that are being put in danger, and we shouldn't have to deal with that.
That is not acceptable. The city's response cannot be, yes, you're right, Windsor Pointe is a dangerous menace, but there's nothing we can do. A lack of due diligence by the city staff is what got us here, and the city needs to get us out of it. The community was clear in advance that we did not want Windsor Pointe near families, and we need your action for remedy to reflect the will of the people and not any personal agendas.